You come back now and you come out of this draft and you get a Trevor Lawrence and all of the Alex Smiths and the Tim Tebows of the world combined. When you watch Trevor Lawrence, you go, okay, I can take sort of the best of that one and the best of that one and the best of that one. And this guy is a compilation piece, right? I mean, he really does have a lot of things that you want. But he's also in his first year coming out of college. And he's going to join a new head coach. He's going to join a city that hasn't had overwhelming success. So there's a little bit of this tap the brakes stuff going on, right? Like, come on now. How much can you expect? Don't put too much on him. What's your opinion of the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence and ETN and all the things that are coming out? I mean, how soon? Your history tells us it won't be that long.
We've had at least a dozen meetings with our GM as well. And the conversation starts with, how do we make a young quarterback successful? If we're going to invest in this first pick, which we did, which he's the guy we wanted, our owner wanted, I wanted, our GM wanted, all our coaches agreed. How do we make him successful? And you're a football guy. The first thing you do is have some balance in your offense. If you're one-dimensional, if you're in the SEC, you'll get crushed. In the obviously the next level, the NFL, you'll get killed. To just put a young quarterback, and drop back the pass against these athletes in the NFL. So great balance. That's why we have Carlos Hyde. We brought him in to go with James Robinson. We tagged Cam Robinson as our left tackle. We're going to expect our line to play a little better, but have good balance. That means you be able to run the football and play action pass. That's going to be number one. And then surround them with some playmakers. The good thing is, Chris, there are some good playmakers already here. Now, they didn't play necessarily well. I keep saying that, but I love some of these guys. DJ Chark and LaVisca. We brought in Marvin Jones, So make sure there's a ground game. Make sure you're surrounding with ball players that you can get the ball out quickly, and make sure he has success early in his career. And one way is keep him healthy, but the other ways, I think we added some very critical pieces to the puzzle in the last 2 months.
You know, the other part of it is, and something that I believe is that you have to be good at the cornerback position as well. You guys go out and get Shaq Griffin from Seattle. You had draft C.J. Henderson a season ago out of Florida, and you signed Tyson Campbell, a guy who can fly, right? He's one of those 10-3, 10-4, 100-meter kind of guys. So as you look at professional football, and obviously you're putting a little priority on the cornerback position already, is there some glaring difference between what you've studied and what you've done your entire life in the college game, and you go, boy, this is the NFL, I better load up on cornerbacks or pass rushers, or anything that has stuck out to you so far as being that major difference?
Yeah, you're playing Alabama and Clemson every week. You know, in the college level, you know, when you've seen Alabama coming down the pipe, especially with the athletes they had, like this year, we played them when they had Julio Jones. When you play someone like that, it starts with the defense line, and I call the D line, part of the extension of the D line are corners. You know, if your defensive line is playing well, your corners don't have to cover as long. That's obvious. So we spent draft capital on corners, and we spent D line capital on in free agency. And I think we improved both, but they work together. I can't be more excited. Tyson Campbell rolls in tomorrow. I've known him since 8th grade, 9th grade. And I love the guy. He played safety in high school. He was a 10, like you said, state champion of Florida in the 100. And we're going to dual teach him right out of the gate, corner and nickel. And if you can do that, you have C.J. Henderson, Shaq, and you have Tyson Campbell, a guy named Trey Herndon. You have 6'1", legitimate 4-3 guys in your coverage positions, which is critical.
Yeah, I've heard you say several times when people are interviewing you, you know, I'm learning. I talk to a lot of people. I'm learning what this means. I'm learning salary cap. I'm learning draft. I'm learning free agency. You're a humble guy, and you sort of put that out front and center. And as you look back on whatever it's been now, a couple of months here, does it seem like Oh my gosh, I didn't know I needed to know that. I didn't know how much I had to think about the financial part of this picture. I didn't know how much I had to know about the salary cap of this thing. That it used to just be I was going to go out and recruit all the best players I could possibly can, but you can't do that in this game, right? I mean, this is a different part of life in the game of football.
Yeah, I went on a 12-month study. I thought last year I got some phone calls and I didn't even pursue them because I was not ready. I was not interested. I started thinking, I'm going to take a 12-month window here. And I called 20 to 25 of my former players, former coaches of mine I spent time with. I actually had an agency come in and spend time with me on the salary cap, roster management. If I was going to do something, and Chris, you know me a little bit, I'm not doing this like going in blindfolded. I'm going to have a very clear picture. I had a couple teams talk to me. I studied the rosters very closely. I wanted to see the core players that were involved because, I'm not going to do something, say, hey, we're going to put a 4 to 5 year plan together. I'm not doing that. We're going to put a 1 year plan together, a 2 year plan together and try to get this thing going. So I did a lot of homework on this thing. And there has been some moments. The relationship piece was, the free agency got me. I made that public and some people didn't understand that, which once again, I get asked a question, I answer it. And that is, you sign a guy for $30 million and you're not allowed to talk to him. And I'm not sure how that's good business, but once again, that's fine. But the players agree. The players want to talk and how they're going to be used. But you get that 48-hour window to sign a guy to a contract, and we did. And I can't feel better about the guys we signed. And the draft process, because of COVID, was much more different than it's been in the past, where you weren't able to go spend a good 24 hours with a guy in a meeting room and take him to dinner and get to know him. Those are the two areas where just the relationship piece and talent acquisition. But there was a reason, Chris, why I hired the staff I did too. A lot of NFL veteran experience that I really relied on heavily here the last 3 months.
Yeah, the things that I think about you at Florida, and I know you've got to run, so I'm not going to keep you long. I think about speed. I think about just the physical speed, and you already see it in your draft. You see what some of the stuff you were doing, ETN, other guys. But I think about special teams too. And I don't know if you still do it or not, but special teams, you didn't play to tie or even win in special teams. You played to dominate and win championships out of special teams. Where does that come from? And is that still going to be a part of the mix for you at this level?
So when I was getting ready to be a head coach, a guy named Reed, Coach Reed from Montana, I believe his name was. I used to read all kinds of books, and it said if you block a punt 9 out of 10 times, you win that game. And I thought, okay, I'm not very smart here, but no other stat tells you 9 out of 10 times you can win that game. So I became a maniac I went to visit Frank Beamer. I went to visit 4 or 5 NFL coaches about special teams. And then I became a special teams coordinator at Notre Dame. And then when I went to Bowling Green, that was our edge. One year we blocked 9 punts. And then Bowling Green, when I went to Florida, I used to call it the freak show, is you couldn't run. If you weren't sub 4.4, you couldn't be on our punt return team. I had street fights, not really, but I mean, I had Joe Hayden, Jeff Demps, Chris Rainey, Deontay Thompson, Percy, all these kids wanted to be on punt block because they knew we were going to go after someone. And teams feared it. So I hired Brian Schneider as a special teams guy. We are going to be I expect us to be, it's going to be hard to be dominant, but I expect we're going to have great players play it. If you're unwilling to play special teams, Jacksonville shouldn't be on your job description because we're going to be good at special teams.
The last thing I'll ask about is the 17 games. This is, they're adding games on now. It's different. These guys, that's a lot. That's a lot of football, and staying healthy and having young players. Have you thought about just the longevity of this season and what that means? Not just, you're not going to win them all unless you're Don Shula and have whatever. Just how to survive a 17-game season that's likely going to 18 games at some point, and how that might be different.
Yeah, the most games we played was 15 one year at Ohio State when we won the national title, and that seemed like forever. And the wear and tear, plus you have 85 people here, you have 50. So it's it's something I've given a lot of thought to, something I'm going to rely on experienced staff. I'm very into analytics and sports performance. I'm very involved in that. And our objective is to keep guys as healthy as you can throughout the season. Because obviously, Jacksonville's been, the last 3 years, we've been in the bottom third of the NFL as far as soft tissue injuries. And to me, that's unacceptable. You can't have that. You got to have your best players. You got to take care of them and treat them right and keep them healthy. So what you just mentioned has occupied a lot of my thought. We're going to have a rookie team show up here tomorrow, getting them out healthy, taking care of them. Yet there's a fine line of getting better, but keeping them healthy. And that's something I've studied very hard.